Guys, we're going live. Be still my heart. It's the return of Real Boxing with Coach Ronnie Shields, co-hosted by James from the Boxing Source. All this and more on the latest edition of War Week Boxing.
Proudly presents living legend and elite level trainer Ronnie Shields. Andy Dufresne walked through 3 football fields with a foulness I don't care to imagine.
Thank you, Morgan Freeman. Appreciate you being here for us. And I tell you what, guys, what a treat it is, and it's been long overdue. Guys, we are meeting with this Tuesday at 7:12 p.m. Central, the incomparable Coach Ronnie Shields. Ronnie, woo! Good to have you back, my friend, the living legend. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing great, man. Good to be back.
Well, I tell you what, and I could not do this without the counsel of our dear friend and co-hosting talents, Big J.R. Bell, the Boxing Source. J.R., how art thou, sir?
Oh, doing well, man. Doing well. Just catching up. We had a great weekend of fights that a lot of fight fans are able to enjoy, and we're here to discuss what's been going down with Coach Ronnie Shields.
And of course, guys, we're going to pick the brain of Ronnie Shields. Obviously, he was busy in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but we're going to get his thoughts on fight fans being fight fans. Do they have reason to cry foul and claim robbery in a fight of the year candidate? Well, we're going to get all this and more, but guys, we're going to start with his man and his top-ranked debut, Veto Milniki Jr. Coach, your assessment on Big Veto Jr.
I thought he fought a great fight. He stuck with the game plan. Feel the guy out the first round, and then second round and just sent him out. I told him, it's time to throw the hard shots now. You know what he has. When he came back, the first thing I asked him was, how is it? Power okay? He said, yeah, but, I'm good. I said, okay. All right. So I told him to start putting them together. And he went out there with the hard shots, and, he won on a disqualification.
What happened?
Yeah, because the father of the kid he fought jumped into the ring without telling the inspector to stop the fight. He's jumped in and stopped the fight himself.
Oh, Chingao. Yeah. Well, you know what? And once again, this is why I give a lot of credit to a gentleman like Jesse Rodriguez, who is boxing through and through. And he's handed those chief second duties to a guy like Robert Garcia. And once again, I'm not a big fan of father-son relationships in coaching and that sort of thing, because we've seen all the drama and the problems that happens, and that's not necessary. That's not needed. Coach, has this become an epidemic in our beloved boxing business?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been like this for a while, but it's just getting out of hand.
Decades at least.
Yeah,
at least 2 decades.
But it's getting out of hand. It's,
yep.
Fathers are starting to take initiative on their own. when his son went down, all he had to do was tell the inspector, "Hey, stop the fight." And the guy would have jumped up on the ring and stopped the fight. But and I understand, man. That's your blood. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and as a father, it probably was natural instincts for him to jump up there and jump in the ring and stop the fight on his own. So I don't blame him, you know, but rules are rules, and we have to stick by them in the sport.
Yep, it's what you sign up for. And once
Exactly.
again, I say this all the time to fighters, trainers, promoters, everybody. This is what you signed up for.
Yep.
And Turkey Al Sheikh is getting a healthy dose of that after losing almost $20 million at Riyadh season in LA. But what a spectacular event. And we'll get to that later on, guys, in the show. But this is what you sign up for. There's
Yep.
decorum, guys. And we're seeing way too much of this. And this is why I have so much respect for Jesse Rodriguez, the father of Bam and Josh Franco.
Yeah.
He knows, like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to support my son. I'll be there for him, but I'm trusting the pro, Robert Garcia. And you know what? We need to see more of that. Like, look, all respect to guys like Devin Haney, or Bill Haney, whatever. But you know what? Enough is enough. Like, why do these guys get it in their head that they know as much as someone like you? I mean, Ronnie, just to remind fans, give them a glimpse of everything that you've been through to get to this point and to earn this stature. Like,
Yeah,
I know we only have an hour, but
yeah, I've been through years of this stuff, man. I mean, I've dealt with every situation that you could probably think of, and it's not easy. It's not easy in this sport. It's not easy being a trainer. It's not easy being a fighter, and it's not easy when you have to deal with fathers. And fortunately for me, the fathers that, I trained their fighters, have never, ever given me any problems, and I thank God for that, and, you know, I always sit down and talk with them and let them know that, I'm going to look after their son. I'm not going to let anything happen. It takes time, to sometimes to gain confidence in a person, and I understand that. And I just think that we as humans, you know, we, I mean, you don't have to. Everybody know you love your son,
Mhm.
and I mean everybody knows that, And sometimes I think people think they have to prove that, and you don't.
Mm.
I think as long as you have a relationship with your son, everything should be fine.
Yep.
And but I mean, in some instances, I can really understand, the emotional part of it, and that's the thing that can't be involved in our sport. The emotional part of it has to stay outside, and we all have to follow the rules. And
But
like I say,
Ronnie, though, the thing that really chaps my hide
right,
is what has to happen in your life to where you wake up one day and say, you know what? I think I'm going to become a world-class trainer today. It doesn't happen that way, guys. It's almost like me saying, you know what? I slept at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I think I want to. I think I want to perform brain surgery today, or I think I want to be an attorney today. I'm going to go represent somebody and try to keep them out of jail.
yeah,
It doesn't work like that.
no,
And
it
it's
doesn't.
disrespectful to everyone who's put in the proper amount of time and gone through those proper steps, learned the craft, started from the amateurs, you're boxing lifer, and then you get some dude who sees a pad work video on YouTube and thinks he can be a trainer.
Yeah.
Look, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. And once again, Ronnie, I just say that because you're such an affable, great guy. You don't want to cast aspersions on anybody, but that's why I'm here. Hey. But anyway, James, your input on this and Veto Milniki Jr.'s future in the packed 154-pound division and Top Rank Inc.
Well, yeah, the thing is, we have Vito Milniki have a good performance here in Albuquerque, and he's involved in a very stacked 154-pound division, as Coach Ronnie knows all too well. With a number of 154-pound fighters in his own camp, to say the least.
There it is.
So with Vito, they had him there. This was his first bout under the Top Rank banner. I know that there have been, some plans there for Vito Milniki on Top Rank, which, I kind of like, discussed with Vito Milniki Jr. some weeks ago. So we're eager to see what's going to be next up for him here if he's able to get another fight this year, because we know that there might be a potential matchup there with two young fighters at 154 at Top Rank in 2025.
Yes, actually, he's going to fight 2 more times this year.
Oh, 2 more times.
Yes,
Yes.
2 more times this year.
Man.
I love it.
He's taking a week off, then he's coming right back. We're going to go again early October, and then again, I think December 7th. So I think that the next one is going to be in New York. So.
And look, might I add, and I'm going to add to this, right? Because Vito Sr. is one of the most overbearing, dominant personalities you will ever meet in life. Not just in boxing, but in life. And he has no problem handing over key training duties to Ronnie Shields, the living legend. See, there it is, guys. There it is. You just have to establish that precedent right from the get-go, right, Ronnie?
Oh, absolutely. And right from the beginning, we talked, and we put everything on the table. And he was very understanding about everything, and and he said, "Look, man, my son is in your hands, and I have another guy that helps me with Vito, who's been with Vito way before me. His name is Anthony Carr. This guy, he has such a great boxing mind, and him and I, we put the game plans together, and we work great together. So, everything works out perfectly."
There it is, guys. Recipe for
and
success.
I want to say one thing, though, that Vito, actually, his first professional fight was on top. It was with Tank Work. It was with Top Rank.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. And I tell you what, Top Rank, they understand what this young attraction brings to the table, because that's what he is. He's an attraction. And can you say Puerto Rican Parade next year? Puerto Rican Day Parade next year versus Xander Zayas. There it is. There it is, guys. That has the potential to sell out the big room at Madison Square Garden.
Oh,
both guys are big ticket sellers in that area, and we look forward to seeing it next year. There it is, guys. And look. Before we move on, let's say hello to our dear friends in the chat. Alberto, welcome to the show, sir. He says, "Salute, Joe and Coach Ronnie. Blessings of both of you boxing legends and the boxing legend. That is the boxing course." There it is. Anthony Antonio Luna, brother, good to see you on the board, my friend. And your former fighter, Coach Ronnie. Adam Montequilla Lopez, the draft order for Vito's Fantasy League was so dumb. Well, nobody's perfect, brother. Oh, Chingo. Eddie says, "Yep, Sports Center top 10 with that KO in Albuquerque." Yeah. And Adam already says, "Yep, I'm booking my travel plans if that going to MSG if that fight is made." Well, you can book it now, sucker. Love you, brother. It's good to see you, Adam. Part of the Warwick boxing team, I'm proud to say. Low Clarity, welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting the coach. And Big JR Bell, thank you for supporting the channel. And guys, look. And if you guys could, please subscribe to my new channel. The web address is right there on the ticker. And there it is. All glory and honor to the Almighty Father. Thanks be to God. Thank you, Jesus. And there it is. And look, guys, I will say this. And we want to, by the grace of God, we want to thank the Lord for taking care of all fighters, including Venado Lopez, as well as Virgil Ortiz Jr., because they both went to the hospital after their grueling fights this past Saturday. And once again, we're reminded very quickly, and I'm happy to report that they're both in good health. Thanks be to God. But it's a stark reminder that you can play basketball, you can play football, but you can't play boxing. Ronnie, how about that main event? Oh boy.
Yeah, it was really, yeah, I mean, it was a bomb burner, man. It really was. I mean, these guys, they both was in shape. They came to fight. And I mean, I think everybody in boxing expected this to be the way it went. And I think Virgil Ortiz, he expected it also, because I read an article on him the day before the fight that he said, his knockout streak may end tonight. His knockout streak may end during that fight, and so he knew what kind of fight it was going to be. Obviously they did a lot of studying, and look, it was really close fight, man. I think it could have went either way, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. There it is. There. Oh, wait a minute. You're jumping to DAZN. You're jumping to Virgil Ortiz Jr. and Sergey Boachuk. So
Yeah.
let's just pick up what you're laying down, my friend.
Yeah,
Let's go to that. And
I watched
you know what?
Dead
And
Zone too, man.
oh, and there it is, the dead zone. We love it. Guys, we just love our beloved boxing. It doesn't matter the platform or the promoter. We live for this stuff. And we love and applaud what we saw this past Saturday.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, wasn't it refreshing to see two hungry young fighters leave it all in the ring, Ronnie?
Yeah, and they're both there, man. And I credit the trainers for both of them putting together great game plans. And
Manny Robles did a great job.
You can see they both studied the opponent really well, and and both fighters, man, they was in great shape. They came to fight. It wasn't one of these fights that that put you to sleep. These guys came to fight, and it, I mean, I'm so happy that Virgil won, but I think it's going to be a rematch. It should be a rematch. I really truly believe the rematch should happen the next fight.
Yep. But boxing, Ronnie. It's not.
Course.
It's not. Enter Turkey LLC. And he's already stated, yes, he wants, and once again, both parties have already agreed. Oscar De La Hoya has agreed. Terrence Crawford has agreed. That's pretty much it. It's just finalizing the deal now. And obviously, money's not going to be an issue because Turkey Al Sheikh is funding this event. And it's going to be in the next Riyadh season event. Terrence Crawford versus Virgil Ortiz Jr., coach. Now, from this performance, as well as Terrence Crawford's less than scintillating performance in LA. And once again, styles make fights.
Exactly. That's it. And, and people are not going to understand that. If you don't know anything about boxing, that's going to be hard for you to understand that styles make fights. But with Virgil and with Virgil Ortiz and Terrence Crawford, he's going to be playing right into Crawford's hand. Crawford wants you to come forward. So this is going to be a more exciting fight. And Virgil has a great chance to win this fight. Terrence
Agreed, coach.
Yeah, he does. He has a great chance to win. He's naturally the bigger guy. Got to understand that, Terrence Crawford only had one fight at the weight. And, he realized that these guys, they get much bigger, than the welterweights, and because these guys are 54, now when they enter the ring, they're probably 20 pounds heavier. And Terrence had never seen that weight before. So, so as you saw, in his last fight. So, I think he kind of understands now that these guys are going to be way bigger than him. And, and they're going to be a lot bigger than him because his body frame is used to 147 going up to maybe 160. And so now, he's fighting guys that's 180, So,
Yep.
it's going to be tough to get these guys out of there. And I think people don't understand that, well, he's only 7 pounds. No, 7 pounds is nothing.
Yeah.
that doesn't make a difference. That doesn't make a
Woo.
difference. Because these guys, they walk around 20 to 30 pounds heavier on fight night. And that makes a big difference no matter what division you're in.
Indeed. And look, Virgil, and you can chalk that up, the weight cut and the just meticulous training regimen and discipline he had as, causing his health issues in the past. That's obviously been rectified. We saw a tested version of Virgil Ortiz.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, your assessment, do you think Virgil Ortiz, what would you grade his performance? Because, boy, he was tested with adversity, 2 knockdowns, and he still comes back in the back part of the fight to win it. Your assessment and your grade of Virgil Ortiz's performance?
Well, out of 10, I give him a 9 out of 10 because he got dropped twice, but that didn't deter his game plan. He stuck with it. A lot of guys wouldn't have stuck with that. They would have figured, hey, let me get out. Let me try to box this guy on the outside. But no, Virgil stuck with it. He stayed with the game plan. He fought close. Both guys landed a lot of shots. Like, it was a lot of close rounds in there.
Yep.
And I don't think anybody would have been mad if they would have called this fight a draw.
Yep.
But, but obviously, you have judges that just feel that Virgil outworked him, although, he had a 4-point swing with the 2 knockdowns. So, but even those rounds was close. So it's not like, by judges having, they can, as a judge, right? If they figure Virgil was winning the round and he got knocked down, that don't automatically give you a 2-point round. Sometimes that goes to 10-9.
That's right.
Depends on what state you're in that they really enforce that, because I know some states you're winning around, but you get knocked down, they automatically give you a 2-point swing. And, and I don't necessarily agree with that because if I'm winning, 99% of the round and then I get dropped, I shouldn't get penalized for a 2-point round when I was winning the round.
Indeed. I tell you what, that's why we love talking to the coach. We get that expert commentary. Love it, guys. Learn it. Listen. Own it. Yeah. But look, and coach is absolutely right. And once again, this is the problem I have. Fans, it's almost like they're never happy, fans of boxing in this country. And once again, this doesn't exist in the UK or Japan or Australia or in Mexico. It's like, come on, guys. You've been crying about not seeing the kind of scintillating action that you've grown to expect from our beloved fighters, right? And now you get it, and you still complain. What's going on? It's like, come on, guys. Are you not? I honestly, I'm truly convinced that they're never happy. They're never happy. It's like they're going to complain. They're going to find something to complain about. It almost reminds me of my ex-wife. Chin down. It's like, guys, embrace this. And once again, I'm going to remind you of this, guys, is the scoring issue. Once again, is there a problem? Quoting Nietzsche, is there a problem if you can't come up with an alternative solution? Is it really a problem? So unless you can come up with a better method of scoring these prize fights, shut up. Come on, guys. And once again, behind your computer screens or your TVs, you think you can see the action better than the judges at ringside. Really? Because Ronnie, you've got the best seat in the house also.
Yeah.
Tell us that you can feel the more effective consequential blows landed. You can feel the shots landed from the apron.
Oh, without a doubt. We feel the sweat dripping on us too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
and
sometimes spit.
that too, but also blood.
And
Yep.
a lot of blood. Always blood.
Oh,
Yeah.
I tell you what, guys. The first time I ever called a fight, and it was on a friend of yours. It was Big Lou Savarese on one of his cards in
Yeah.
Houston, Texas,
Yeah.
and it was by accident. I was just there to cover the fight for Fight News, as
Right.
well as the old East Side Boxing.
Yeah.
And I was asked to, well, a guy didn't show. You know how Lou talks, Big Lou.
Yeah.
He goes, well, hey, Joseph, I know you're here just to do your job and cover the fight, but do you mind us putting a mic on your lapel? Because and we'll give you this spot right here on the apron so you can call the action. But our guy didn't show up, and we have a camera crew that we've already paid for. Do you mind calling the fight while you're doing your job? I'm like, oh, okay. I've never done it before, but yeah, sure. I'll give it a shot. And I tell you what, I made the mistake of wearing a suit with a white shirt. And when I left the arena and had breakfast with your brothers from Main Street Boxing, right?
Yeah.
Because they had
Bobby.
Miguel Flores on the card, right?
Bobby Benton. Yeah.
Yep, Bobby Benton and Aaron Navarro. And at breakfast, they're like, dude, you caught the action. And I looked down, and my entire white shirt was covered with red dots.
Yeah.
Guys, so once again, if you think you're catching everything from the comfort of your living room or your mother's basement, think again, guys. Once again, these judges, and that's why they're there. They've earned that spot. They've started from the amateurs, scoring fights through the club level and working their way up to this level just like a prize fighter.
Yeah.
They've earned this. They're the most consistent and most competent. Steve Weisfeld, David Sutherland, Max DeLuca. Yeah, guys, they're most consistent in boxing. That's why they get these big events.
Yep.
And guess what? I don't have a problem with the way they scored the fight, and neither should you. Once again, if you think you can do a better job, hey, go get a job with the commission. They're always looking for new blood.
Always.
Ching, now put your money where your mouth is.
There you go.
Either show up or shut up. That's all I have to say. JR, do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, the thing is like it's two different views when you're ringside and when you're, looking at it through a television. Some ways, you can view things when you're ringside that those that are looking at TV can't necessarily see, and it could be vice versa. But like you said, with judges, they go through the ranks through amateurs, the pros, and all that type of stuff, and also work with referees, because I see in some of these shows, like the club shows, you'll see like some of the referees also double as a judge for other fights too. So you can see that in this aspect. That's definitely something to take into account in reference to that part. As far as like the fight itself, fight of the year candidate. Good styles to match up against each other. Of course, they were former sparring partners, so they had a little bit of familiarity between each other.
Indeed.
Like the matchup between trainers that they had there, as you mentioned. There was Robert Garcia and
Manny Robles.
Manny Robles there, right? So that kind of like had everything meshed together there. So it ended up being a great fight. I am kind of like concerned a little bit as reference to Virgil Ortiz, how he'll be able to handle potentially fighting Terrence Crawford. But at the flip side, with Terrence Crawford is he'll have some advantages in that particular fight, but also the size is going to still be something to look at because he was able to tag Israel Madrimov with some good shots, but Madrimov was still able to be right in front of him. If Virgil Ortiz is able to do the same thing while being more active Yeah, that might be something to keep an eye on in that matchup that could be scheduled for season 2025.
I tell you what, great, insightful points from both Ronnie Shields and co-signed by James Bell from the Boxing Source. And you know what? Yeah, and I sound a little bit like William Shatner there. My God, bones. But look, guys, in all seriousness, these judges, and that's a great point, James, that this is not easy for the judges at ringside either, because a lot of times they have to score other fights as well. And when it's a long, grueling card, that's not easy. You've got to be laser focused for all 3 minutes of every round.
Yeah.
You can't miss anything. You've got to be dialed in. And once again, these guys are human. And look, just from speaking with judges, they always insist to me that they have no idea how they scored the fight, because they're focused and they are trained to look at each round as its own individual prize fight.
One round at a time.
That's it. And they have no idea. And when a guy like Thomas Triber is announcing the judge's verdict, they're praying. And they've confided in me and saying, you know what? I'm thinking, please let me have a scorecard that's similar to all the other guys.
Yeah.
And because they have no idea.
Right. So, yeah, I think that's one other thing that a number of fight fans don't necessarily know, but it kind of goes to, me being at ringside. So with these judges, they're, at different parts of the ring. And as you said, they score round by round. So what happens is that at the end of the round, the referee goes to each judge and gets their score for each round. So they get it from one judge and another judge and then another judge, and then they hand it over so that it's marked down. Yeah. So they do that every single round. So it's not like they have it where, people see the scorecards and it's like they write down what they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. They do it round by round like they have a notepad, and they just make 10-9, and then they strip off the notepad and give it to the ref, pretty much like that. So that's how that works.
Yeah.
And guys, trust me, they have to zone out a lot, because say what you want about Frankie Carbo and Blinky Palermo, right? The guys who used to run boxing back in the 50s. The mob, right? They're the ones who came up with these rules and these traditions in boxing, like the A side. Oh, my guy. So they understood. They didn't fix fights, unlike Hollywood wants you to believe, right? Hey, see, we're going to kidnap the wife of the champion, and we're going to hold her hostage, and you better take a dive and go down in the 5th, or else she's history. She's sleeping with the fishes. No, it didn't happen like that, guys. Now, look, the mob, they were smart enough to understand that if they rigged the game, then fans, the real bosses of boxing, would eventually catch on and lose interest.
Right.
Okay, so what they did was they tilted the odds in their favor. They treated it just like the gaming at the casinos. And so they came up and devised these methods of trying to influence the judges without rigging the game. They're the ones who came up with the concept of A side, B side. Their fighters coming out last. Their fighters being announced last, right? And they even were the ones to get the photographers on the ring aprons to influence the judges that way. Now, what I'm saying is, and most fans don't realize this, if you're there at ringside, and James knows this, he's a photographer, world class, and he knows this. When you're there on the ring apron and the A side, whenever he goes on offense, you hear click, 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 click a ton. And when the other guy, the B side, goes on offense, you don't hear a damn thing. Most people don't understand that influences the judges. And the mob understood this. And that takes place to this day. Bob Arum has all of his photographers front and center right there on the ring apron. Hey, keep in mind, that's my guy in the blue corner. You know, and once again, these things are designed to influence the judges, and judges know this. They are taught and mentored to zone all of this out. Once again, guys, unless you've done it, you have no room to complain, because this is a difficult task. It is difficult. Like, honestly, coach, you know fighters, and the conventional wisdom would say, hey, fighter, why don't commission members, why don't they ask fighters to become judges? And you already know why. Because fighters make terrible judges, brother. You know this.
The worst.
It's not easy. It is not easy, guys. And once again, it's very easy to sit on your couch and to listen to the commentator and have them influence your assessment.
Yep.
Okay, judges at ringside don't have that luxury.
No.
Hey, Mikey, you put one of your photo guys over here, and I want another one here, and you are gonna be right there in the corner, and you get every good picture of my fighter.
I tell you what, man, and most fans are completely oblivious to the reality of this.
Yeah.
Yet they feel empowered to complain ad nauseum. Guys, we've had enough. Enjoy your beloved boxing. Have fun with it. It's a pastime. Once again, guys, leave it up to the pros. Leave it to the pros. And if you think you can do a better job, then do a better job. Sign up with the commissions. And that's the last I'm going to say about it. Let's move on, guys. Well, Ronnie, your final thoughts on this ongoing dilemma with the fans and the judging. And it doesn't help with guys like Teddy Atlas screaming robbery.
It was a robbery.
Well, the thing about it is, in boxing, we're all looking at the same thing, but we're seeing something different. We see something different every time, and it's, I think we as people, we take a side and we see everything they do and nothing the other guy does.
Dude, that is the God's honest truth. It's like politics.
Yes,
it's like if you
thing.
choose to be a Republican or Democrat, it's going to affect the way you see everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
once again, that is such a brilliant point, Ronnie, because these judges, they don't have a dog in the hunt.
No.
They understand that they're
supposed to have a dog in the hunt.
No, well, yeah. Yeah, you're killing my point, Ronnie.
I had
but
to.
Look. No, well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. But look, guys, for the sake of argument.
Yeah, for the sake of, there you go.
For the sake of argument, they're supposed to be, and they've been trained to remain objective.
Yes.
That they don't care, and they don't even understand or pay attention to what title is up for grabs. Like this whole ideology, well, you've got to take the title from the champion. That's nonsense, guys. And judges don't subscribe to that ideology.
No.
Hence the outcome of Terrence Crawford, Madrimov. Right? So, well, I've been getting lost with all of this. Let's go to the main event. Venado Lopez, and let's consult our chat for this, right? Look at this. I've got to point this out. This is hilarious. Alberto, thank you once again for hanging with us. I've been following Venado for a while, and I noticed his back had more acne than ever before. Was it possible he was juicing to lose weight, possibly? Well, look, Ronnie, you've been around this business long enough, and you understand that if you are juicing, you are doing something you shouldn't.
Yep.
And you're building that muscle.
Yep.
What do you sacrifice? You sacrifice your conditioning.
Yes,
it saps your energy. Look at Shannon Briggs and look at Tommy Morrison as an example.
Let's
expound,
go,
sir, please.
Let's
But guys, once again, that's always a telltale sign. And what lost the fight for Venado Lopez?
That left hook.
But he was sucking wind. His
Yeah.
arms were down at his side in the
Yeah,
high altitude of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's why my guy went 10 days before.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I tell you what, the master right here, Ronnie Shields. There it is.
Yeah, I can tell you that.
But yes, low clarity has a beat as well. With my only data point being Hank Hill when Peggy sneaks him testosterone supplements and he gets acne, I can confidently say he's on that Hank Hill juice.
Well, Bobby,
Yes. Look, guys. Once again, dude, quote the great Dan Rather, formerly of CBS News. If it looks like a duck, if it waddles like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. There it is. There it is. Once again, guys, the fans aren't completely ignorant. And once again, that's the method of the madness of the mob. They understood that the fans aren't stupid. The paying customers, the real boss of boxing, aren't stupid. So we can't rig the game. But once again, guys, know your role. Understand. And that's why we're here, to educate you guys on the business of boxing. Right? That's it. So, guys, this is a very challenging process. And unless you can come up with a better one, then have respect. Tip your do-rag to the judges at ringside, because it is not easy, guys. It is not easy. Not in the slightest. But let's move on, guys. Once again, you've got to feel good for Angelo Leo, a guy who was put out to pasture by Floyd Mayweather Promotions. He was let go when he lost to Stephen Fulton. And once again, there's no shame in losing to a stud like Stephen Fulton.
No.
And then he makes his way back in the rankings through the pro box circuit. And then he gets his opportunity in his hometown. Coach, how can you not feel good about that?
Oh man, this kid, he went through a lot. Like you say, he went through the pro box circuit to get himself back in the rankings. And you know what? He was lucky that that top rank, was able to put it in his hometown. And that's extra motivation when you have that happen to you. All that adversity he went through, and then all of a sudden, now he's fighting for the world championship in his hometown. Wow, that's amazing. And the kid, you could see, man, he got himself in great shape. He was ready, and and now he's champion of the world. I mean,
I love it. I love it. And
that's storybook stuff right there.
You know what, guys? And that's why we love our beloved boxing. That's why we watch. It's like you can see a guy who was left out in the cold, left for dead, and he works his way back into the rankings and gets this opportunity, works his ass off. And, well, Coach, add this to how important is it, and what does it do for a fighter's psyche to fight in front of your hometown crowd and get that love?
It gives you that extra motivation, knowing that people come out to support you. People just didn't come out to see fights. They came out to support him. I mean, the crowd was just unbelievable. And everybody was screaming his name when he was walking through. It was just, it had to be a great feeling. And as a fighter, you need that confidence. That's confidence you have, because these people came to see me, and he went out there, and man, look, when he hit the kid with that left hook and he went down, the kid was bouncing. I don't know if you saw that. He was bouncing.
That was reminiscent, Coach, of Roy Jones Jr. and Glencoff Johnson.
Why was the ref counting?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What in the world? I'm like, what are you doing, ref?
Well, look. To be fair, that's what happens when you put a fight in New Mexico and not Nevada or Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That was like, what?
And the crazy thing about it was he counted like all the way up to 9.
Oh, jeez.
The inspectors and everybody was already in the ring.
Yep.
And he still counting.
The stool was out, everything.
Well, maybe he just wanted to pull a Joe Cortez and steal the spotlight. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe,
But
I
look,
don't know.
but that's an
Oh,
excellent point, Coach.
God.
And once again, guys, this is why the big fights happen. All of them
Yes,
in the big commission states:
absolutely.
Nevada, California, Texas, New York.
That's why they have the
This
most
is why
experienced
I don't.
judges
Yep, that's
and
it.
referees.
That's it, guys. Now, once again, man, have respect for the protocol, have respect for the system. And that
Yeah.
seems to be almost the theme of the night. There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
And look. Jesus M. Joe, I did say Leo was a live underdog. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He was on a streak. And you know what? He earned his bones the hard way. That's why I'm saying this is a kid that you can't help but feel good for.
Yeah.
He did it the hard way. And he, once again, how demoralizing is it, Coach, for a fighter to get let go from a major promoter?
And it's hard. It's hard because, because when you sign those contracts, right? And I don't know what the kid was making, but obviously he probably was making a little something. And then you lose, and all of a sudden you get your papers. That's just not fair to me. That's not fair.
Indeed.
The thing about it is, and here's what I don't like, right? Because let's say Leo hadn't lost, right? Would he have got this title shot? Probably not. He probably wouldn't have got the title shot. But here's the thing also. Like when you got these contracts with these big promoters, right? And you get ranked or something like that, right? That automatically extend your contract.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah. So you're saying, okay, my contract is coming into an end, and all of a sudden you see yourself in the rankings. You're in the top 10 of the world. That's going to extend your contract.
Yep.
Yo, TLC, yeah, and that's the promotion company basically investing in you, so to speak, because in a lot of these cases, we know how these rankings work in the bodies.
I understand.
So if they do that for you, then you got to do something for them, basically, and that's how they're able to extend the contract, not just with winning the title list, with the thing with the rankings as well.
Yes. But when you lose, they give you your paper. You give you your papers.
They treat you like hot garbage.
Absolutely. They give you your papers when you lose. And and that's not fair.
That's why I absolutely love this story, Coach. Yep. I love the story of Angelo Leo. Too. As much as I love me some Venado Lopez, I love his heart, love his toughness, and he's a warrior. But you know what? I can't help but stand up and applaud Angelo Leo and his intestinal fortitude and his belief in himself when everyone around him gave up on him.
Yeah, Joe. That's the thing about it, the ups and downs of boxing. You got, on one side there, Angelo Leo, being able to fight for a world title in his hometown. And, there's times where, that's good and everything. And you have, all the fans and stuff there to support you. You got to deal with sometimes, dealing with tickets and, how many family and friends to get the tickets and all that stuff. But by the time you're able to walk that, out to get to the ring, that pretty much goes out the window. And that this is, going to be, probably the biggest fight of your life, and to, have it culminate in that knockout victory in a very close fight. You've seen the scorecards, 86-85 twice for, Leo, went 86-85 for Venado Lopez. So it was very close there going into the 10th round. So for him to end it definitively, that was a great thing for him to win that world title.
Yes, sir.
And also on the flip side, though, for Venado Lopez, I mean, he's been a very confident fighter, very comfortable in his style, the way that he does, as far as stepping in and out, working on angles, landing punches in various locations and things like that. And, but with this style, he's always open to something like that. And this time he got caught. And, you kind of seen him after the fight there. He was really, bummed out that he lost the way that he did. And, at least, for him, and I thought this was very good that, he had his family there with him. His family was there to support him, because a lot of times when you have something like that happen and you get to the locker room, nobody's there.
Oh,
So he had his family
oh
there.
boy.
He had, Oscar Valdez
Oh,
go in their locker room to, give him some words of
That,
support too.
you know
So
what?
that
That's a
was good.
very good point, James, because that is beautiful, man. And we love to see that. And that's hard. That's the hardest part of being in this business, Ronnie.
yep.
When you're there ringside and you're part of the team, you're treated like family, and you meet their family and you have dinner with them. And yeah, and you feel like part of the family.
Yep.
And then you're ringside. And then you see a family member virtually get their ass handed to them in the worst way possible, and you can't do anything about it but just watch.
Sad.
How hard is that to deal with, Ronnie?
Well, it's really hard, but when you've been in the sport so long, you know, you have to understand that you have to take the good with the bad, because it happens, and and right away you have to put that in your mind. Okay, it happened. My guy lost this time, so and no matter what, because you lose, okay, you can always come back, and that's the positive thing. That I think you don't start talking about, but just wait till you come back. Wait till you leave that alone, and just
Mm,
don't even talk about boxing with the fighter. Just
mm,
just leave it alone. Say make sure he's okay. Number one, and I think that's what you have to do. You have to settle his mind to understand that,
mm.
hey, this is a sport. It happens in a sport. It's hard to go undefeated in a sport
Yeah.
of boxing, And there's only two guys that I know that's been undefeated, and that's Joe Calzaghe, I believe, and Floyd Mayweather. And I thought Floyd lost, one of his fights before.
No,
Yep.
no, 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 no. Listen, listen. My
Jose
thing is
Luis
this.
Castillo.
Listen,
Yep.
you know what? I went in the ring. I fought him. It was a very tough fight, but I got through it. And then you know what? People doubted me. So what did I do? I gave him a rematch.
You know what? And thank you for bringing that up, because you know what? Not everyone has the wherewithal or the stones. Now, keep in mind, Canelo fans, did I say that? Yes, Canelo fans. Keep in mind that every single time that Floyd had a controversial fight in which the fans, the real bosses of boxing, felt that he really lost, what did he do immediately?
Rematch.
Gave that fighter a rematch. Jose Luis Castillo, Marcos Maidana. Canelo, what did he do? Yeah, he waited until Gennady Golovkin got old. Yeah. And once again,
He
guys,
certainly didn't give Erislandy Lara or our
That's
guy
right.
Austin Trout a rematch.
no, and you know what, brother? Let me actually thank you for that segue, JR. We appreciate you, man, being here, being our rock, my friend. And dude, let's bring that up. Canelo Alvarez recently stated in the media, okay? Recently stated in the media that he said this. I felt that if I had started my career and I went with TBC, Al Haymon, that I would be a lot more successful and I would have accomplished a lot more in my career. Instead, I went with Golden Boy. Wow.
Al Heyman. Al Heyman.
Al Haymon. Yeah. Oh, shit. Don't let Al hear that. But look, guys, look, I worked with Don Chargan, right, who is the senior advisor for Canelo Alvarez. And I can tell you with great certainty that one of the only reasons that Canelo achieved that level of attraction was because of the crafty and careful matchmaking at 54 and that
Yep.
Canelo weight 55. Ronnie, Would have Tom Brown and Al Heyman been as forgiving?
No,
Hell no.
absolutely
Hell
not.
no. Look, if they had kept him at 54, right? And not
Whew.
had the Canelo weight at 55.
Woo.
Right.
Yeah, he would have lost a lot more often
Oh,
at
without a
that
doubt.
weight
Listen,
than feeding him Alfredo Angulo,
Yeah,
than
absolutely.
feeding him a past his prime Miguel Cotto,
Of course.
then ditching his throwing away his WBC title and avoiding Miguel or Gennady Golovkin.
Yep.
BBC would have never done that.
No, absolutely not.
Ronnie, come on now. You're right. You're right on the money. And once again, say what you want about Al Heyman and Tom Brown. They want to put together the fights for the fans. Look at the cards that we've been seeing from Al Heyman and Tom Brown for the past 2 years, guys. Now, once again, exclude everything that you've seen on the Fox Sports bullshit with the distribution deal only, right?
Right.
Just eliminate that out of your mind. Eliminate Ortiz versus Martin. Don't even think about that. Because once again, that was no guarantee, no licensing fee spent from Fox. Okay, but what happened when they were limited to one platform, PBC,
Right.
and they were forced to put together the best fights possible? They did it. And look how many prospects got beaten in the process.
Yep.
Guys, once again, Canelo should be getting on both knees and kissing Oscar's ass for everything he has at this time. Say what you want, guys, but honestly, the job they did of matchmaking and nurturing his level of attraction during that time was masterful. And you can't argue with that.
No.
Did they give Aries Landilotta a rematch?
Hell no.
Woo! I tell you what, guys, and once again, all credit to my mentor, Don Chargan. He was the senior advisor, and he's the guy who said, you know what? He's not ready for 60 and 68. Like, if you send him up to the land of the giants while he can't cut off the ring and close the distance effectively, you're basically putting him in a position to fail. So let's keep him as long as we can at the Canelo weight 55 until he adds that new wrinkle to his fight game. And Coach Ronnie, how difficult and how long does it take if you're used to being that pocket counterpuncher? How hard is it to add that new wrinkle to your fight game? And does it happen in only one camp?
Oh no, it don't happen in one camp, man. It takes time. You got to develop that, man. You got to develop that, and it comes with training and sparring and a lot of pad work to get things done, man. It's not easy. It's hard. It's really, really difficult.
Yep. And guys, once again, it's a testament to Canelo also. It takes a lot to humble yourself and understand, well, I've got a lot more to learn in this business, in this game. And not everyone can do that, can they, Coach?
Absolutely not.
So that's why that fans and writers will often throw out that expose label because it's not easy.
No.
I tell you what, though, man, Canelo should send Oscar a nice fruit basket every Christmas season and say thank you.
He gonna send him one. They had a bomb in it, but he gonna send him one.
But guys, once again, don't discount the job that Golden Boy and Don Chargan, Eric Gomez, Oscar De La Hoya did with Canelo Alvarez. Now, once again, as a prize fighter, to be fair, as a prize fighter with that ego, it's like fighters want to believe that they're the ones who do everything.
Yep.
And that's a big faux pas in this business. Because in reality, It's a team. It's a team effort, and it takes a team to make a great champion. Can you expound on that, Ronnie?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a promoter, you know, as a promoter, you have to have a matchmaker that knows what they're doing. And Golden Boy has so many great matchmakers. Top Rank probably has the best matchmakers in the world.
Oh,
You know,
without a doubt.
and it takes a team to get everything done. So,
Mm.
I mean, you only see a part of it. They don't see everything, the behind the scenes. When they first coming up and trying to make a match for these guys. It takes someone that knows you and the opponent, knows everything about his team, knows everything about everybody. And when they match these fights, trust me, when they
Yep.
match these fights, they know they're going to give you the most exciting fights that's out there. But they know that they have to give their guy the advantage, the slight advantage, just enough to make this fight look great.
Guys, Pearls of Wisdom by Ronnie Shields, because that is the gospel. And guys, once again, we're here for you. So you have a greater appreciation of what happens here, because that's the truth. And once again, a great matchmaker like Brad Goodman,
Yep.
Bruce Trampler, the
Yep.
two best in the business, two Hall of
Yep.
Famers, and they're both handling the prospects and the talent of Top Rank. And they did this for Terrence Crawford as
Yep.
well to
Absolutely.
get him to this point. And once again, Ronnie's right on the money. They will put you in a position in a matchup that you're going to be successful, but you're going to learn something in the process, and
No
you're going to
doubt.
be tested,
Yep.
and it's going to bring out the best in you.
Yep.
Hence, or an example, Virgil Ortiz versus Sergey Boachuk. I guarantee you, he graduated from high school to a college graduate in one
No
night.
doubt. That's right.
Tell you what, guys, Ronnie is the man. He knows. He's been through us all. I love it. Guys, we are all the wiser. And guys, I hope you appreciate everything that Ronnie's been through. His 4+ decades in this business. Forgive me, Ronnie, for saying that.
It's okay.
This 4+ decades in the business, his expertise, and he's giving you guys this all for free on Tuesday night. Every Tuesday night on War Week Boxing. Guys, and I tell you what, James, is it possibly, no, not possibly, the most difficult job in boxing? Because not only do you have to come up with the best possible matchup, the perfect opponent, but you also have to sell the idea to both fighters that this challenge, this risk is a good idea for the amount of money involved.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much the number 2 guy in a promotional company because they have to, come up
Yep.
with those matchups, and they're basically scouts for looking at both fighters, so to speak, and saying, hey, this is the best matchup that we got for you, where you could maximize, your I guess future potential, so to speak, as far as like being able to get, like, say for example, be a contender and get closer to becoming a world champion. So for matchmakers, they really have that responsibility of making the best fights, whether it's the main event all the way down to the bottom part of the card, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
to make sure that it is the as good as a fight card as they could possibly make it. So it's not just the promoter that has to sell the actual event. It's the matchmaker that says, okay, I get these 2 guys together, seeing what they've been doing in the past, and if I put them together, then I have confidence that they will be able to produce a great fight once they do step in the ring.
Yep.
There it is. And I tell you what, guys, once again, and that's the theme of the show, guys, respect the business of boxing. Respect the guys who have put in and devoted their time, their lives to this. Have respect to the guys who are boxing lifers. Guys, we're visiting. We have the honor of visiting with this gentleman who is a boxing lifer and a living legend every single week. Ronnie, we love you, brother. I'll tell you what, guys, before we let you go, let's move on to the oh boy. Let's move on to Riyadh season. Look, speaking of fans, they have made this assessment. And I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of them on the popular social media outlets that, oh, Dave Morrell, he moved up to 75 and he's just not what he's advertised. He struggled with a guy. He couldn't get him out of there. Hot Rod Kalachik. And Ronnie, how easy is it to get a world-class fighter out of there who has conceded to defeat and is looking to survive?
Yeah, the thing about it is, man, as I stated earlier, David probably was one of the biggest 168 pounders in the world. And moving up in weight, though, again, you're fighting guys now. He was fighting guys before that probably was weighing 180. Now he's fighting guys that's 190, and people don't understand that. And plus the style matchup. The thing about it is, the whole thing about boxing is an ugly win is better than a pretty loss.
You know what, brother? I will second that. Because you know this business. And once again, guys, we're all about the business on this to educate you so you'll appreciate everything that you see in the ring. Because networks these days, they will ask you if a promoter or a manager comes up to them and says, hey, I have this great fighter, world class. He's going to be a champion, no doubt. And then they see the record, 18-2, right?
Yep.
With a knockout loss. Well, he's got 2 losses. What's wrong with him? They have that attitude.
Yep.
And it's terrible. And so, hey, I'm with Ronnie. As unpopular as it is, an ugly win is much better than a pretty loss. Absolutely. Absolutely. So who would you rather be in this situation? Dave Morrell Jr. or Sergey Boachuk?
I want to be Morrell every day.
And there it is. And there it is. James, do you have anything to add to that, sir?
Yeah, you just summed it up there perfectly. A good win is always better than a pretty loss. So with David Morrell, like you said, I mean, he was there against a very good veteran there in Radivijay Kalasic, who, like I said, he had those battles there with Peterbiev and built his way back up there. Also was part of that pro box circuit.
Yeah.
Before having this fight with David Morrell Jr. So he's a very solid fighter up there in the 175-pound division, and so props to David Morrell Jr. for getting that win. It's like you can't necessarily knock out everybody or have an easy time with every fighter there. So you got to take the good with the bad as long as you end with the win.
Something else I want to say about that. But David, right? David, look, if Hot Rod has stood up there and fought with David would have knocked him out.
Yep.
But with his style, he had that style and that awkwardness with him that David couldn't catch him clean. Couldn't catch him with 2 shots that he really wanted to catch him. But he caught him with enough shots to win the fight. And that's very important. And, I would love to see David fight the winner out of Veto and Peterbiev. These guys aren't as awkward as Hot Rod, but at least they'll stand and they'll fight. So, then you'll see the real David Morrell Jr. And also, keep in mind that this was only David's 11th fight. For a kid that's 26 years old, 11 fights in the program, and in the pro game, and look at the fighters he's already fought. So, I love this kid, and I know he's going to be champion at 175.
There it is. There it is. And you know what? Let's make some headlines, Coach. Now, if in the event that Arthur Beterbiev has to back out of this fight, is David Morrell willing to jump in at a moment's notice and compete against against Dimitri Bivol?
Oh, without a doubt. Look, David Morrell's a fighter. This is what he does. And if he had, you can't give him a week or two notice for a fight like this. But if he had enough time, 5 to 6 weeks, absolutely, without a doubt, he would step in and fight for the world title.
There it is. There it is, guys. And once again, this is not beyond the realm of possibility. Guys, this is the reason why he was asked to compete on Riyadh season. Because Turki Al-Sheikh, once again, despite all of his, criticism that he's been getting as of late, because of his criticism towards Canelo, understand this. He has a particular interest at 175, the light heavyweight division, because traditionally, this is a very important division in boxing, isn't it, Coach?
No doubt. Always been. Always.
Yep. It's one of the original 8.
Yep.
There it is, guys. And once again, I have to talk about this, guys. Look, put it this way. At this time, I would much rather be David Morrell Jr. than Jared Big Baby Anderson. Oh, boy. Coach, what happened? And look, my heart really goes out to Jared as well as his trainer, my brother, Javen Sugar Hill Stewart. What happened that night?
I think, from me talking with Jared's team, I know his manager, Jay Prince. I spoke with him.
Mhm.
I spoke with some other guys that's with the camp. And Jared took this fight on his own. It wasn't, he was advised not to take this fight. But, Jared is a fighter, man. He's a fighter. He wants to fight the best that's out there. He wants to prove to himself that he belongs. And, although Jared is really young, he have to understand that it's levels in this sport. There's levels to this sport. And sometimes you can't jump a level. You have to stay where you are, listen to where they got you to a certain point where people are looking at you now. You didn't need to jump to that next level so soon. He's like 24 years old. So he's still a youngster in the sport. And, when you jump levels, that's when you run into problems.
Once again, lesson to you Canelo fans. Respect the matchmakers. Respect the promoters. And I tell you what, Top Rank right now, even though they're happy in a certain aspect, because from a business perspective, in their contract, Ronnie, talk about this, please. In their contract and in every promoter's contract, if you fight on another promoter's fight card, your promoter is going to make minimum 25 to 30%.
At least. I've seen up to 40%.
I've seen up to 50% as well. And once again, so Bob Arum, Todd DeBuff, everyone involved, they made all their money back in one night that they invested in Jared Anderson.
Oh, most definitely.
But are they happy at this time?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, not necessarily in that. This one here, kind of like got to me, of course, because we have a number of people involved when it comes to Jared Anderson in this particular case. Right? Well, Jared Anderson, of course, is involved with Top Rank, has been signed with Top Rank for a good little while.
Yeah.
And recently, it's been like a couple fights ago. Of course, he's been involved with Jay Prince and, that managerial team as well. But ever since he was a young kid, he was with one particular trainer, and he's been with that trainer for all his life.
Yep.
In this particular fight, it was advised for him to be alongside Sugar Hill Stewart. So
Mm.
when I initially saw that Sugar Hill Stewart was working with Jared Anderson, I thought that his trainer would also be alongside as a chief second, but it didn't necessarily work out that way as we saw when they did the workout. So when I didn't see his original coach, I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. So the fight happens, and Jared Anderson, was a great competitor and everything like that. He still has a dog in him, but it was just that Martin McCauley was just too big for him. It almost looked like a number of those punches. McCauley probably was like laughing at him. He those punches will hurt me. Nope. So even though Jared Anderson was game after that first knockdown and everything like that, and then they stopped the fight, that was it. The first thing that Jared Anderson did soon after the fight and all of that was give a phone call to his original trainer and say, "Hey, I want to come back home." And his trainer was like, "Yeah, okay, you can do that." Now, as you said, with the thing with the promoter, they got paid. Overall purse was 1.2.
Yep.
So they got paid.
Yep.
But for Jared, he's gonna have to get right back in there, and up to that particular point, Top Rank had him being built up really good as far as like matchups were concerned. So I had that that nervousness in a sense when you fight someone like a Martin McCauley if Jared Anderson was ready for that, because he hadn't necessarily been matched up to gradually move up to those particular rankings to fight against.
You
That
mean
was
like Canelo with Golden Boy?
What? Like what?
Once again, proving my point. You mean like Canelo with Golden Boy?
Well, like Canelo with Golden Boy, but hey, you're there with Top Rank. You know those guys, Bruce Trampler and Carl Moretti and all of those. So they know how to
once
properly.
Again, guys, once again, this is a lesson to everybody. If a fighter wants a fight, there's very little that his management and promotional company can do about it. The fighter is the boss, guys. Once again, and it boggles my brain, Coach. Like, he hires all of these very experienced people around him.
Yeah.
And he chooses to listen to people who have never been in this business.
Yep.
Can you make sense of that at all?
Not at all, but but here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Jared is an up and coming fighter, right? They're moving him perfectly, because of his age. They letting the Usyks, the Furies, all of them guys get out of the way.
Yeah,
They're making them get out of the way.
Yeah.
So, and slowly you're bringing this guy up because he's going to be a superstar.
There it is.
But at some point, when money start being thrown in your face, and you're not listening to the people that was with you to bring you to the point to where you are right now, because Jared made this decision on his own, from what I understand.
Yep.
His manager told him no. His trainer told him no. So they decided, he decided himself to go out and seek another trainer to do a job that's basically, I mean, maybe they didn't take a good look at this guy, because if you look in the corner, they're telling him to stand right in front of this guy. This guy is over 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And if you look at this guy, you got to look at some of his fights, and you stand right in front of this guy who can punch. And when your guy's hitting him and hitting him, and he's smiling at him.
Yeah.
And you telling him to stand right in front of that guy? Come on, man.
Coach.
No way.
Coach, what does it do for a fighter's mentality?
Man,
when you're giving him the best you have, and he's still coming forward and he's smiling at you.
Man, I've seen that so much in this
Mhm.
sport. I've seen it so much. And I tell guys all the time, say, man, I've seen guys put their hand down and let guys hit them with 10-ounce gloves on and smile at them. What you think that do to your psyche? And you're supposed to have all these knockouts. And then this guy does that to you. You know what it does to your psyche? Oh my
Oh,
God. It destroys you
yep,
because nobody told you that this guy could do that.
yep.
You
That's it.
know?
That's it.
And
And look, to get in this ring, coach, to just get in the ring, even at the club level, you need to be brimming with confidence.
you have to. You have to have
And
that.
when you make it to that stage of Riyadh season,
Yep.
and then to experience that, coach, here's the $1,000,000 question. Will Jared Anderson ever be the same?
You know, here's the thing that he has on his side. He has youth on his side. That's the thing. But the thing about it is, you have to baby step him now. You have to baby step him now, which they was doing from the beginning. Baby
Mhm.
stepping him, doing it the right way. Then all of a sudden, from like I say, from what I understand, this was all him. He
Yep.
wanted this fight, and you know, this is why you have a manager. This is why you have a trainer to sit down to discuss and say, hey, if he says this is a good fight for him, show me where is a good fight for him. Show me what is
Amen.
it going to do for your career. If you win the fight, what is it going to do for your career? That's not a name that everyone, he's not a household name. He's a boogeyman in
Mm.
waiting. Now you don't woke the boogeyman up.
Yeah.
Now you don't woke him up. But you know what? Now he's going to get the big fights now.
Mhm.
Because now you gave him that window.
Yep,
Mm.
sure did.
I tell you
It-
what, true words
hey,
were never spoken. Go ahead, James.
and this is very interesting in a sense because the thing with Jared Anderson was that he was one of the fighters that kind of had the thing there with Turkey Al Sheikh.
Yeah.
And that was another factor in him being involved in
Yes.
this Riyadh season card and
Mm.
being part of the Riyadh season series. So now it's like, okay, you had this crushing loss. Now where are you? Are you going to one go back with Top Rank and have the thing there where they matched you up, they built you up so that you could develop your skills and then become eventually that world title contender like they had planned for you? Or are you going to stick with Turkey LLC in the Riyadh season and potentially be involved in another fight there in the like a heavyweight bout that could involve you being up against, say, for example, maybe a Age Cabello,
Mm.
or well, a Joseph Parker, or maybe something like, well, maybe not like that, but like something where it's still a fairly high contender there in the heavyweight division that's going to build himself back up, so to speak. You know what I mean? And hey, since we got Coach Ronnie right here, right? What happened months
Yeah.
ago when it came to Jared Anderson? Who was a fighter that Jared Anderson was mentioning as far as like potentially fighting? Oh, wait. Yeah, I think it was Philip Hergovich. So,
Oh, Chingal.
yeah, that could also be another possible matchup if he's still there with Turkey LLC. So, yeah, you got those decisions to make there, Jared Anderson.
Well, look, I look, and once again, great points, guys, and like that's the theme for this evening, right? Pulling back the curtain and showing you guys exactly what this business is all about, and it's not easy, guys.
No.
Have some respect, but I will say this: Jared Anderson, it's entirely up to him. It's entirely up to him. If he want, like, once again, how rare is it, coach, when you see a heavyweight like Vladimir Klitschko get
Yep.
his ass whooped by Corey Sanders, a
Yep.
guy who came off the golfing green
Yep.
to whoop that ass in 3 rounds,
Yep.
right? how long did it take Emmanuel to rebuild that broken toy? Right? It took him a good minute,
Hell
but
yeah.
he ended up going on to become champion and a defending champion, unbeaten for 11 years.
Yep.
How rare is that in the heavyweight division, Coach?
It's very rare because you always got these up and coming guys, you know, especially in the heavyweight division. So, and right now, it's so many up and coming guys coming up right
Ooh.
now that it's going to be tough now to put Jared in that mix because now people is looking at him and say, oh, you know, to try to you're trying to restore his confidence now. That's going to be the number one thing. You got to put it in now. That's going to restore his confidence. And let me tell you something. An old term in boxing is that now we don't know how glove shy he's going to be. He won't be glove shy in the ring, in sparring and in training, because you got a headgear on and all this stuff. But when you put the 10-ounce gloves on and you don't have that protection with the headgear, that's when the glove shyness come in. And we don't know how much that's going to affect him. So are they going to bring him back and try to rebuild him the way they brought him up? Or you're just going to go for that money and put him in again? You know,
damn, Coach. We should be, you know what, Coach? Honestly, we should be charging admission for this show. Holy cow. This is amazing. Like, honestly, Coach brings up a very great point and one that's not spoken of, even by the media of boxing. Like, is it worth it for Top Rank to reinvest in this kid, considering all the problems that he's had outside of the ring? And now the biggest one inside of the ring. Is it going to be cost effective for Top Rank?
Well,
that's going to be the case.
We're going to see. You know, like I said before, I mean, being involved with, you know, his original trainer, and you know, going through, you know, what they've gone through in order to build him up, and then, you know, him being involved with, you know, who he was involved with on the one side with the managerial part, and then here recently, you know, being part of the thing with Riyadh Season and Turkey Al Shiki. It's going to be really interesting to see what he does next, because, you know, Top Rank, we've mentioned it many times. They've had decades of having the experience to, you know, do the promoting, the matchmaking, as we said, to properly build fighters. And here in the heavyweight division, they have a number of heavyweight fighters. They're available for Jared Anderson. I said this for about a year and a half. Whether they've been friends or sparring partners or whatever, I've been calling for Jared Anderson versus Effie Ajagba for a long time. And Top Rank had that ability to do it, but since parties, I guess, didn't necessarily want to do it.
Look, James, to be fair, I'm sure they favored that matchup over the badass from the Congo.
They likely did.
Like, look.
But here's the problem with that. They on the same team.
They
both got the same manager.
Got
the same manager.
And that opens up another scab, brother.
Yeah,
there you go.
So that fight would never happen.
Yeah, so there you go. But you know, outside of that, like look who they got. What, Magmadov or Guido or you know, anybody. You know, they got a good number of heavyweight fighters there at Top Rank to match up. And they just, you know, Jared and, you know, just didn't want to go ahead with that particular path. So
but
once again, guys, and we have to wrap this up because we're already 90 minutes in, and it almost seems like we're just getting started. But that's what happens when you spend time with the coach, the living legend, after 3 weeks of not being able to converse with him. And I tell you what, Coach, we're gonna wrap this up. Your parting shots for our listening audience, sir. And you know what? I really feel for Jared because you know what? Oh boy, And when you're brimming with confidence like that, and then you fall from grace, so to speak, boy, that is hard to deal with. Now, we've seen fighters like that, like Deontay Wilder, thinking
Yep.
that he was indestructible,
Yep.
like the best, the hardest puncher in the history of boxing, getting his ass whooped by pillow fisted. And then those were his words,
Right.
Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Right? He blamed it on his trainer. He blamed it on the gloves. He blamed. How hard is it for a fighter like that?
Quote, crab in
Yeah.
the bucket referee and a disloyal trainer.
So once again, how hard is it for a fighter to deal with that kind of humility?
Yeah, I mean, you know what, man? You know, when you stop listening to those who put you on a path of righteousness,
Mm.
then you decide, I'm going to do this for the money. I'm going to go away from my team. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to change my trainer. When you decide that you're going to do all of this stuff without consulting the people that got you to where you are right then, you deserve to get your ass whipped.
Woo! I tell you what, truer words were never spoken. And
Hey,
guys,
Joe.
once again, go
Joe,
ahead,
real
James.
quick. Let me quote someone to respond to that, and it's a quote from a great wrestler that was, a
Oh
former
boy.
football player. Damn.
Damn. Woo! I love it, guys. And once again, and this is why we love boxing, guys. And once again, anyone who's interested in the demise of boxing, guys, prepare yourselves for disappointment. It's never going to happen. This is why we love boxing, because it's life in a microcosm. Am I wrong, Ronnie?
You're right is right.
There it is. There it is, guys. And so, once again, we learn so much whenever we get to spend time with the living legend, Ronnie Shields. Excuse me. And gosh, it really stinks that time flies by like this. And I told Ronnie before the show that we're going to do tight 60, and now we're 92 minutes in. And so,
Okay.
Ronnie, tell you what, thank you for everything, Ronnie. Like, you and I have been working together for over a decade.
Yep.
And you know what, brother? We always learn something new whenever you grace the airwaves and we get to share the air with you. So thank you, Ronnie. And I hope everyone, and I know they do, because I know our extended family, I know they appreciate everything. So please leave us with your parting shot, sir.
As always, watch W.A.W Radio, and you can always follow me at official Ronnie Shields on Instagram.
And there it is, guys. On behalf of the living legend and on behalf of the great J.R. Bell from the Boxing Source, I'm little old Joseph Herron from Warwick Boxing. Guys, have a great evening, everybody.
Affordable Dentures proudly presents Living Legend and elite level trainer.